Go blow your nose. That's the words that I heard this morning as I was on my walk with Ziggy and Skylar. Ziggy is the little one that is, his birthday is coming up very soon. But he's the little one with a bunch of energy trying to pull me as fast as possible. Skylar's the lady of leisure. She's pulling me from behind. And so I've got both arms and I'm getting pulled in both directions and I'm sniffling. It's in the morning. My nose is running a little bit and I sniffled a couple of times. Sniffled. And then I heard my brother's voice, go blow your nose. Well, what's weird is I live in Carlsbad, California. My brother lives in Las Vegas, and he happens to not be visiting me, but I heard his voice as clear as day. And it was almost some PTSD because I remember hearing my brother from when I was a young kid, probably 8, 9 years old, constantly, if I had a runny nose and I'd be sniffing it back up in, he would be like, go blow your nose. Well, I didn't understand the actual meaning of this lesson and why it was a pet peeve to him for his whole entire life. Anytime you caught him, you were sniffling around him, he would always yell this at you. But it took me over 40 years to understand the meaning of it because what he was saying is, why do you just keep sniffing the same snot back up in your nose when you could just go blow it out and get it done and then it won't bother you anymore? And that hit me this morning like a ton of bricks. Because how many things do we do in our lives and we keep on doing them over and over and over and over again, and then we get mad at the result? And we keep getting mad at the result, or we get frustrated with ourselves, but we keep regenerating the exact same thing. You see, when I went to Proverbs 5 today, it was talking about this, and I want you to understand that Proverbs 2 is the second shortest chapter in all of Proverbs, but it's right to the point. And that's what made me think of my brother, because Rob is right to the point. He does, like, if you go to him and say, when I do this, my arm hurts, he just says, stop doing that. He's very literal. He's very to the point. He doesn't have much fluff to him. He's truthful. And it's amazing because he gets results because he doesn't continue to do the exact same thing that gave him a bad result. And so when I looked at it, with Proverbs, it's the basis for so many sayings that we've heard. And let me read some of these off for you. A dog returns to his vomit. We've heard that one before. If you keep doing what you're doing, you'll always get what you've always got. Maybe I'm killing that phrase, but I've heard that before. Change your habits, change your life. You reap what you sow. Stupid is as stupid does. We all remember that one. And then I remember this. Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I probably killed some of them, but you understand what I'm saying. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never know, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Why don't you just blow your nose, boy? I just keep hearing him say that. He doesn't say boy. That would be my pop, actually. My pop would say blow your nose, boy. But in Proverbs 2, as I sat down with this, like, it just kept making me think of my brother. Like, Proverbs 2, second shortest book or chapter in all of Proverbs, only 23 verses, I believe, but power packed with wisdom and literally just straight to the point. Like, if you do this and it hurts and you continue to do it, you've got to understand that it's going to hurt every single time you do it. This may sound redundant, but these are things that, that I've found are challenging in my life. I'll go to my brother sometimes and I'll be like, man, I'm down because of this. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, oh, well, I'm doing this particular thing. Have you thought about stopping that? He's not the guy who's going to jump in the boat or jump in the hole and dig it with you. He's going to encourage you, but he's also going to give you practical wisdom and applied wisdom that will uh, take care of the challenge. And sometimes this is tough because, when we're thinking about communication could be tough because sometimes when you when you try and have that conversation with your wife, sometimes she just wants you to listen. So what I would suggest is make sure that you ask her, like, do you want me to listen all the way through, or do you want me to give you some practical application? When you're talking with your brother, though, especially your big brother, like my big brother Rob, he ain't asking me that question. We ain't communicating like that. He's just he sees the challenge. He's like, you're doing this, and it's causing that. Stop doing that, and that's the way it goes. And when I heard that this morning as I was walking the dogs and my nose was running a little bit, I know it sounds nasty, but I blew out my nose. And when I did, I wasn't sniffling no more. I wasn't continuing to sniffle the exact same snot back up in my nose. And that's what we have the tendency to do as human beings. And then we get mad at every single other thing around us. And, so we got to be, I had this happen with my son the other day. So, I don't know if any of you guys go through this, but when I play video games, I'm very competitive with them, and I have the tendency to think my controller is broken, especially when I'm losing. And my son and I were playing 2K, and he was whooping me, and then he was like dancing, hitting a 3-pointer and putting his hands to his head, 3 fingers, doing all the stuff. And I was just like, man, as we were going, I was getting madder and madder as I went through. And then I had to realize, like, and I was mad at the end, and he whooped me. And then, he was like, I'm sorry, Dad. And I was like, man, I walked away, and, um, you know, I realized that I'm 50 years old, and, he's 13. I shouldn't be getting mad at him. But he shouldn't be beating his dad that bad in NBA 2K. That's what the lesson is. But I went into it the next day, and that next night when we played again, I found myself, like, encouraging him, laughing, "Oh, you're whooping me," all the stuff. But I found that I kept going back to a very similar mentality, and I had to fight it. But every time I went to that mentality, I started to get madder and madder. So it's the dog returning to his vomit. You keep doing the thing that's causing you pain, it's going to cause you pain even more. And that's, it was a big thing. And it's very to the point here in Proverbs 2, that if we keep doing what we've always done, we'll always get what we've always got. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? And so in verse 1 and 2, it talked about this: pay attention to wisdom, listen to words of insight, so you can maintain discretion, right? So let's break that down. Like, pay attention. To actually pay attention, it costs you something. To listen to some, it doesn't cost you anything. To listen and apply, it costs you something. It could be your energy, it could be your time, could be your focus. But it says pay attention, like, and to pay attention, that means that you invest in it. Pay attention to wisdom. Spend your time. What is wisdom? The right use of knowledge. The right use of knowledge is the greatest thing that you could ever get. It's the most valuable thing that you could ever get. I didn't understand this as a young kid. I was like, the most valuable thing I could get is the house or the car or the bank account or whatever it was. But what I found is the right use of knowledge can actually get you all those things. So I would suggest paying attention to wisdom. Then listen to words of insight. So, perk up your ears for insight, right? So the way that it goes is fear of God, then that brings wisdom. Wisdom brings, you could bring knowledge in. Knowledge brings understanding. Understanding brings insight. Once you start to understand things, you have insight into it, and you could see things that other people can't see. Listen to words of insight. Imagine if you just listened to people who could see things that not everybody could see. It's the reason why you listen to podcasts, you read books, things like that, is because those people have insight. And then finally, so you can maintain discretion, meaning that you can look at something and say just because you could do it doesn't make it right for you. And I tell you, when we get that skill level, it changes things within our lives. In verse 3 through 6, says, "Wars are won in peacetime preparation. Store up wisdom. Foolish things are on the way." Um, Foolish and silly things are just the absence of wisdom, and there's always things on the way. And what God was telling us in this, and what Solomon was telling us through his writings, is that wars are won in peacetime preparation, and to store up wisdom when you don't need it because the crazy times are on the way. And I tell you, I've not listened to that for a lot of my life. And then I've got to points that I've been like, man, I'm in the thick of things. Now I need to get ready. That's not the time to get ready. Wars are won in peacetime preparation. Probably one of the strongest things I could tell you, whether it be in a relationship, business, any of those things, friendships. In verse 7 through 14, if it is silly, stay away from it. Your dignity, wealth, and hard work depend on it. Silliness causes trouble. I mean, think how simple that is, but how robust the wisdom is in it. If it is silly, stay away from it. Your dignity, wealth, and hard work depend on it. Silliness causes trouble. And what is silliness or foolishness? It's just the absence of wisdom. What is the antidote for foolishness? Wisdom, right? What's the antidote? Well, if you have fear in your life, faith is the antidote for it. Fear causes foolish behavior. So if you have fear, combat it with faith. And if you have foolishness in your life, combat it with wisdom. And imagine if you had faith and wisdom against fear and foolishness. I think that I know who would win in that situation. In verse 15 through 20, work your land. The food designed for you will nourish. All the rest will cause a stomachache. I've been learning this, over a period of time. It's like when I eat certain things, my body acts a certain way. When I eat what's right for me, then my body acts right. It's amazing the way that God works, and because it's principle based. And when it's principle based, you could see it in so many different areas of our lives. And it's not just the food part. It could be the work that you do that's meant for you, right? And my mom always said this, that you could do anything that you put your mind to, but just because you could do it doesn't make it your purpose. Well, what she was saying is work your land. Like work your land, what was designed for you. The food that's designed for you will nourish. All the rest will cause a stomachache. Again, so simple in Proverbs 2. And I think that it's simple and right to the point because that just reminds me of my big brother, Rob. I love you, man. And I promise I will blow my nose today. What is done in the dark will come into the light. Discipline is faith, hope, and wisdom applied. I got this as I was writing this morning, and I'm sitting in the backyard, and I always thought that discipline was this huge, big trick, or not trick, but how would I say it? That discipline is this huge thing that's so tough for everyone, and it is hard to apply. I promise you, it's simple, but it's not easy. But when this was revealed to me, discipline is simply your faith, your hope, and your wisdom that you have. Combine them together, mix them up into a bowl, and then apply them. Because at the end of the day, most of the time, the advice that we're searching for, we already know, but we just haven't applied. And I learned that on my dog walk today as I sniffled, and I heard my brothers, like it was like a tyrannical drill sergeant. I remember thinking of him that way. I didn't realize that, it affected me so much, but I remember it like I was 10 years old. And I sniffled this morning, and I heard my brother like, "Go blow your nose." Well, he was saying that because he didn't want me to continue on in the cycle of doing the exact same thing and having a result that I didn't enjoy, or that he didn't enjoy either, having to listen to me do that. And so that statement, go blow your nose and get rid of the silliness that's ailing you. It's just that simple. The antidote for silly and foolish behavior is wisdom, faith, hope, and love. It's a simple answer, but we make it complicated. Stop sniffling today and go blow your nose. You could thank Rob for that. Rob, I want to tell you, man, I love you more than anything in the world. A lot of people have big brothers or they have big sisters and they're not close, which I never understood that. I never understood it because our mom always told us that we would be the ones that we could depend on and that we would be there together. And a lot of times, I know that I bothered you and I gave you a hard time when I was when 3 years younger and I wanted to hang around because you were the cool guy. But I want to tell you how much you mean to me, how much I love you, how much you inspire me, how much your words mean to me. And it lifts me up. I get a text from you and literally I can be fueled for days because of it. And you're the greatest brother of all time and you're a huge inspiration to me. And I love you. And I watch the father that you are, the man that you are, the husband that you are, the brother, the friend, all those things, and the businessman that you are. And then I think about the traits and the characteristics of who you are. And I'm not saying that you're perfect, but you're perfect to me. And I love you, and you're the best big brother in the world. I love you, man. Hopefully you have a phenomenal day. This has been Proverbs 2. It's an episode of Inchstones. If you haven't checked out the podcast before, we have 3 different shows on here. I was supposed to say that at the beginning. That's what you're supposed to do in podcast land. But we have 3 different shows. I interview some of the most iconic people in the world or heroes that I have in my life. And I get a chance to be able to interview them and they give advice to my kids by name. Then we have a show like this, which is daily wisdom you could take on your walk. And I study Proverbs. I've been doing this for a long time. It's not from a religious standpoint. It's not from a ritualistic standpoint. It's just from a relationship standpoint. And I think that wisdom is not bad. I don't see that wisdom has ever hurt anybody. And so we go through the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. And it's been amazing. So we do that 15, 20-minute episodes you can take on your walk. Then I have a show that's called You Have to Meet My Friends, where I go live. And I call my friends randomly, and they don't know they're on the podcast till they're on the podcast. And so it's been a joy. It's been amazing. It's been over 5 years. This is episode, I think, 672. And they say that 90% of podcasts fail within the first year. I believe that's because of workflow. People get kind of caught up in the cumbersome workflow part of it, but because no one told me how to do it, I went in and figured it out, and it's been awesome. And I can help you too if that's something. So, shoot me a text or shoot me a message. Let me know because I can help with that. But it's been an absolute honor and pleasure. Probably one of the greatest projects that I've ever done in my entire life has been this podcast. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you want the book Inchstones, it's a workbook that takes you through the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. That's a link in the bio. If you want the book, The Vibe, that's going to be towards your business and your relationships and overall life. But a lot of entrepreneurs use it as a kind of blueprint. It's 117 pages, but it's power packed. I wrote it all with 2 fingers that way. And I wrote it within, I think it was 6.5 days. I want to, again, thank you. If you're listening, you're tuning in, and you've been riding with the podcast, I just want to tell you how much you mean to me. You guys are amazing. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise.